Well, Mr. Salame, thank you very much for joining us. This is potentially your last conference. What have you felt over the years that you've benefited from oil and money conferences, and what is your takeaway from this precise conference?
Well, oil is a very, how should I put it, a very flexible political commodity. Therefore, it has a very incestuous relation with strategy and politics. And a political scientist can hardly ignore oil. And I think that oil people can hardly ignore the geostrategic and geopolitical context in which production, distribution, and the market is organized. So the relationship is incestuous, and every year I come here, including this year, I find how incestuous this relationship is, either in what we have to say, but even more in the questions we are asked by the audience.
Yes, indeed. Just falling out of your recent talk with other members of the panel, I was very interested when you mentioned that the current Obama administration's policy of avoidance of conflict in the Middle East as far as possible and the wider region of Afghanistan. You mentioned you felt, was this an aberration or not? Next administration will see, US administration. Do you think, though, you felt, I believe from what you said, that there may be similar lines that have been pursued by the Obama administration that we will later see in other administrations. Do you feel that the US is pivoting away to a degree than it has in the past from the Middle East?
Well, the hope of many of America's allies in the Middle East is that what we have seen in the past 6 or 7 years under Obama is somehow an aberration in American foreign policy. That they will see again their bigger ally on their side, fighting with them, helping them, supporting them, and not making deals with their adversaries. This is what they hope. And a lot of them would like to see the Obama years as an aberration in American foreign policy for that. Other more traditional views would tell you that under George Bush you had 8 years of very feverish interventionism in Afghanistan and then in Iraq and in other places in the world, and America paid a heavy price for that. And that's why Obama came in a pendulum action and corrected this with a policy of avoidance of conflicts and avoidance of involvement. And therefore the pendulum will go back to where it was like 6 or 7 years ago once this administration is out. My own feeling is that what we are witnessing now is not an aberration. It's a movement of the pendulum, yes, but if it is not an aberration, it means that the pendulum will not go back to where George W. Bush left it, but to somewhere in the middle, some kind of sort of synthesis between what Bush did and Obama did.
So US allies, traditional allies like Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states will have to adapt to that situation?
Everybody's adapting, in fact. Yes. They are opening up to Russia, they are opening up to China, they are building their own forces. To a large extent, what we are witnessing in that part of the world now is a dual process, parallel process, but dual process. On the one hand, you have a more immersion of all these countries in the process of economic and financial globalization, while when it comes to security, it's more regional than ever, more regional than global or more regional than international. So the two processes are going hand in hand. Globalization of the economy and regionalization of the security.
Mr. Salame, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
you
you
for joining us.
Thank you.